Today is Monday, December 22nd, 2025, and it is the second day of Tevet. B'Tevet, 5786. The Parsha is Vayigash. Daf Yomi is Zivachim 99. And this is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for oily. I guess it touched, today's the last day. Speaking of oil, that's probably where it came from. I put it down on the counter where I lit the Chanukiah. I use oil. Some people use candles, I use oil. Some people use oil. It's commemorative of the miracle of Hanukkah. And today is the last day of Hanukkah. It's the 8th day. And this calendar has a lot to do with Hanukkah. In numerical values, it's called the PL-89 because of many reasons, but one is it has the total number is an average of 89 days. There's 90 and then there's 88 because of Mercury. So 89 is the numerical value of the Hebrew word Hanukkah, spelled Chet, Nun, Vav, Kaf, He. And so this has a lot to do with Hanukkah because it has 8 columns that would represent the 8 days of Hanukkah. And I think that's it. Yeah, 8 and then 89. Those two things. And if I can think of anything else, I'll mention it. But this is, it's a few calendars together. It's a solar and lunar calendar. I'm keeping track of the Gregorian calendar date, which is our regular calendar date, the Julian calendar date, which is 13 days behind our, so let's say today is December 22nd. So the Julian calendar date would be the 9th. So minus 13 or plus 13. And in the Hebrew calendar, of course, which it's the second day of Tevet. We start the new month of Tevet. And in the third dispensation, Tevet is always right here. So all of the what they call cardinal months, meaning the months that start the Tekufa, the start of the season, are always here. So Tishrei is here. Okay, Tevet is here. Well, when I started this thing back in the summer, Tammuz is also one of those cardinal months. Tammuz was right here. So the Aleph of Tammuz, Aleph of Tishrei, Aleph of Tevet, and Aleph of Nisan, always right here in box 38. That means Bet is 7. Next one over. So we're on 7. That's the number of today. And the coordinates are F8. And as far as the Gregorian calendar, it's December 22nd, and the box would be 2. And that's true for any mutable month, which means that September we were on 2, June it was box 2, March it was box 2. Any mutable month in dispensation 3, it's always going to be, all those months are always right here. And what's interesting is that this calendar is a calendar of all calendars, so you don't have to have the name of a calendar. All you need to do is plug in whatever calendar you have and just start the count from anywhere. I'm already seeing little hints of that, like tastes of that right now. The idea is that, and it's been coming forward in the past few videos, that there's a timeline to this, and it was created in Elul in late summer of 2012. It was in the works. It was cooking up all 2012, but it actually came in this. It materialized in late August or early September of 2012, and I always attribute it to Elul, the Hebrew month, the 6th month on the Hebrew calendar of Elul, in the year 2012, which was the Hebrew year 5772, and it seems that the duration of this calendar is to last for 14 years. And we're seeing the few rays of dawn right now towards the finishing of this thing, which will be in the springtime of 2026. Springtime 5786, the ER time, meaning the Omer time. In other words, the last dispensation of this calendar is based on the fixed months. If you're familiar with astrology, the fixed months are, and if you're not, I'll explain it now. Fixed months are months that are already well into the season. For example, if you're in springtime, you start spring in April. April would be that cardinal month. But once you're already you're in the swing of things. You're in the swing of spring, and you're deep into spring already. You're May. May is a fixed month because you're already deep into the season. And then once you hit June, you're already in the part of the spring that's already moving into the next month. That's what's called mutable. So, and you have this same pattern for each of the four tekufas, as they're called, each of the four seasons, these four parts of the year. And so for example, in the summer, that fixed month would be Leo, would be August, because July started it. August is in the middle of it, and September already is at the end of it and moving on into the next season. So same thing, Tishrei is the first of the fall, and then Cheshvan is right deep in the middle of fall, and then December is already moving. Mutable is muting into winter proper, into actual, which would be like Tevet and Shvat, of course, and Adar. Adar is so Shvat is so this third dispensation. The first dispensation was the longest, and it was the most, I would say, right now from this point of view, counterintuitive. Which means, why would you ever think of starting something for the end? I don't know why, but that's how it came out. That the very first thing started at the end. And then, for 8 years, it went, which means that it was based on the mutable months. So that the beginning of this calendar was set and reset. All the Mercury years, meaning all of these 90-day periods, were based on mutable months. So it was like the Rosh Hashanah was Adar. Okay, the Rosh Hashanah was then Sivan. Adar March. The Rosh Hashanah was Sivan June. And the Rosh Hashanah was then Elul September. And then December Kislev. Those are all the mutable months. And they started it. But and that went for 8 years that way. Then when Corona came in the early spring of 2020, March of 2020, March 14th, I think, if you want to give it a date. It came, I remember, that Shabbat, it was either March 14th, I think it was a Shabbat. That was the definitive last Shabbat that we were going to synagogue. Maybe some people the ones who really wanted to stay longer, maybe stayed one more Shabbat. But I don't think so. I think that might have been the last one. But then at that time, it all switched around and it became the cardinal months, meaning the beginning is the beginning, the middle is the middle, and the end is the end. And as it turns out, at the very end of it, at this third dispensation, it's been based on the middles, which is quite interesting. It's kind of like, in a way, it leaves it open, like it's never ending, in a way. You might see it that way. Like, it starts in the middle. When it gets to the middle, it's at the beginning. And when it gets to the end, it's the beginning. It starts at the middle. And then when it gets to the middle, it's the end. And when you get to the end of it, it's the beginning. And that's how we're leaving it off. And then it always comes back to the middle of it. So it was like the last dispensation was, you start in the middle. When you get to the middle, you're at the end. And when you get to the end, you're at the beginning. And so I guess you might say it's just the opposite of how it started. The end is the beginning, and the first dispensation, the beginning was started at the end. But as we're ending it off, and we see the finishing line up ahead, so to speak, it's very interesting because it gives a sense of like I said, like eternity. It's like you end off and you're just in the middle of it. It means it's never ending. If you end it in the beginning and you start it off at the end, then when you really end off, you're still in the middle of it. You're still in the process because it will never really end. And what I'm seeing is that springtime, when we hit ER, will be the beginning of it. But when it hits there, it will jet off. It will splinter off into three parts, meaning ER will be simultaneously here, and here, and here. And then ER, and then Sivan June will be here, and here, and here. It will be a combination of all the dispensations. And I think it will go that way for just only 3 months because that will fulfill each thing, and then that will be it. And then it's done, and I'll be, I don't know what will happen, but I'll be using it somehow. Maybe the next thing will present itself. But this is as it stands now, as it's presented. So today, the numbers are 7 and 2. So that makes 9. So that's not really a name of anybody. I mean, it's just a letter, 9. I. The letter I is the letter, is the... So, can't think of anything else in terms of gematria. So, I think we'll leave it at that.